Good morning.
We're going to show you how to make 2 pounds of flour tortillas. Flour, you can sieve your flour if you want your tortillas to be more fine. So you can have your flour sieved. We're going to need soda, baking soda, water, salt. We have lard, vegetable oil, or we have the oil like this. So it's either one you want to use. I prefer to use this one because the flour tortillas are more spongy. Then in this one, sometimes the flour stays a bit yellow and it's not too presentable to cook with. Some people like that kind of oil instead of this kind of oil. So we can start. She will spread her flour. Spread the flour. She first spreads her flour, and in the middle we will put soda. It's 1 spoon for a pound. 1 spoon. So we have 2 pounds of flour, right? So it's 2 pounds of flour. It's 2 spoons of soda. We have here the salt. It's for 2 pounds of salt for flour.
I got it.
I got it.
Pour the salt.
It's for you, Tom.
So you mix the soda and the salt in the flour. Then we add the vegetable oil.
We have a video. We'll look at the instructions.
I prefer using this oil, so we will not use this. I just brought it here so you can see. You can either use this oil or
Does
you
it
can
change
use
the
it.
texture of it depending on the oil?
Because this one leaves the color of the flour of the tortillas. It leaves it yellow, as well as it doesn't. It leaves it more, how could I tell you, like rubbery. So if you would feel tortillas hard, sometimes it could be because of this type of oil. That's why we prefer to need that kind of oil. So the texture stays different. They are more round and they are more white. The tortillas are more clear.
You should have a cooking channel show.
This can be your pilot.
When she has dissolved the flour and the oil, the lard in the flour, then you can put water.
How much water is that?
We usually don't have it by measurement.
Right.
We just go by.
The humidity and stuff.
Yes,
yeah.
because here we have 3 types of flour that we receive. We receive a Gitana type of flour that's local. Then we have Bebe Agua, that's also local. And those take different different measurements of water because of the type of flour. And then we have this one. This one is Bola Roja. It's Mexican flour. So I prefer to use the Mexican flour because the texture is more prettier. And it's more, the tortillas are more, they're just nicer. We mix, and then you can knead for about 20 minutes or less, depending on the quantity of the flour. If it's a lot, it takes like 20 minutes. If it's just 1 pound or 1.5 pounds, it will take like maybe 10 to 12 minutes to knead. So if you want to do mess at home,
How much salt again did you say?
salt,
How much salt?
it's just like a spoon,
Okay.
a teaspoon.
Okay.
So it would be like half a teaspoon for a pound.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have it here, so.
Okay, there you can see how the flour stays more into a dough.
They look more like the Midwest.
Yeah, it looks like the West Coast. I don't know, Eastern European as well. Granules. That's what I forgot about the granules. When I think of that from America, I mean, that's the right over, so.
Here in Belize, we either need on the tabletop or we need on something called a bowl. It's like in our culture, we Mayas used to use a wooden bowl, we call it. I don't have a picture here to show you, but we either need here on tabletop or we need on a wooden bowl like this. That's like this thick. Maybe if you go to the House of Culture, I believe there is
Like a
one.
cutting board?
Uh-huh.
Big, thick cutting board.
Yes.
Takes a lot of muscle, doesn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
So if you practice like this, maybe you won't get big. Like me, I don't get big. Only here.
Is it typically women that make the tortillas?
No, we have men that knead. My father kneads.
Okay.
He teach me how to knead.
Really?
My father teach me how to knead. I learned kneading when I was like 10, 12.
Wow.
So from very small, from very young. And right now my daughter is 8 years. She already wants to learn.
She wants to learn?
Yes.
What does the kneading do to it?
It takes out the texture of the flour. Because if you don't eat it, the flour will stay like, you see how it looks here? I'll bulge up. If you would take it and cook it like that, it would shrink and it would just stay hard because it's not.
It breaks the fibers.
We actually here, what I do for my tortillas to be more firm, I slam my flour. I tighten the flour. So I don't know if there at your place, you would go to a bakery or someplace, you would see how they would take the flour and just throw it against the table.
The bag?
So we do that, like I do that like around 6 times. 6 to 8 times depending on the quantity. If we're making like 8 pounds, I would do it like 10 or 12 times because it's a lot.
So you can take out your aggression and take that.
I'm holding the table because she's very strong. She usually does to 8 to 10 pounds, so 2 pounds is nothing compared to the big bulk that she makes.
Oh, yeah.
Also, when you're kneading, you need to know the texture of water that it has. So sometimes you will feel the flour too dry, or if you would take the flour and you stretch, if it's stretched and it breaks up, it needs more water. If it breaks, it needs more water. If you see that it stretches and it goes all the way that you stretched and it stretches okay, the water is okay. Okay, let me say.